Unfortunately, you cannot film in the conservatory when it's raining, and unfortunately, I live in England, so rain. Hey Crusaders! So I'm going to say a few things at the beginning of this, so if you want to skip ahead to where I start to talk about the books, then I'm sure I'll put the time somewhere so you can just go on and skip ahead and ignore me. First of all, I just kind of wanted to say I've been away. I went on holiday, no technology, just no booktube at all, and it was very relaxing, and then I came back and I couldn't quite get into the swing of things, and I've just been busy. Enjoying doing other things, and I've not given as much time to reading or watching videos, and that's okay, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing it. I still really want to, and I'm probably going to start again, but you know, you just take little breaks. Just like a little break. And also July, strange reading month for me. You'd think that going to Lanzarote and lying on a sunbed would mean that you got so much reading done, but for me it was the complete opposite. My brain just went to mush. I just lay there for ages, just watching people and doing Sudokus, and it was lovely. And so I still did have a good reading month in July, but it was strange. I didn't feel like I did any reading. I think I did more reading before I went away on holiday, and I read one book in 10 days on holiday, and it wasn't even a particularly big book. I feel like, and also for some reason I'm in the middle of a bunch of books now. That doesn't usually happen to me, but there you go. So first off, the books I read in July were Scoop by Evelyn Waugh, Glimpses by Lynn Llewellyn. I read The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak and did a review on that. I read The Bees by Laylene Paul, and I read Under the Eagle by Simon Scarrow. I DNF'd The Iron Duke by Margene Brooks, and I'll talk more about why I did that. And I started reading The Goldfinch and didn't get very far, and I'll talk more about that too. So first of all, Scoop by Evelyn Waugh. I got it from the library, so I'll just scooch across to make room for it here. I really enjoyed it for the first half, and then I didn't, and then I did, and it was a strange book like that. I actually gave it 3 stars overall. It was really nice to read a classic again, but this one I had issues with. I really enjoyed A Handful of Dust and Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. I really do like Evelyn Waugh, and some people say Scoop is their favourite, but I just wasn't feeling it. So in classic Evelyn Waugh style, it's funny and witty, and it has that real feel of characters and making fun of things, and this England feel to it. Basic plot is that there's this fictional war going on in this place called Ishmailia, and John Boot really wants to go and be a war reporter there, reporting on it, and his friend puts in a good word for him, for Boot. However, it is William Boot that they ask for the job because of that whole mistaken surnames thing, and William Boot is basically told, "You're fired if you don't take this." Now William is the country writer, he's a countryman, he's just completely not right for it, he has no idea what's going on, and he's got to somehow go to Ishmailia and be the war reporter, and it's that classic Evelyn Waugh. Oh, you know, if you've read him then you kind of understand that feel of it. So it's a satire about the incompetence of journalists. However, I got the point. It got a bit grating, like the same jokes were coming, and I was like, I get the point now, Evelyn Waugh, can you do something new? And he did, but not for a couple of 100 pages. And also the racism and anti-Semitism grated on me so much. I know it's a classic, but Evelyn Waugh really was racist in this book, and it just didn't fly with me. So all in all, 3 stars. So the next thing I read that I'm so happy that came into my life is Glimpses by Lynn Llewellyn, a collection of Night Runners short stories. You probably thought I was done talking about the Night Runners. You were wrong. This is book 3.5, so after you've read the first 3 books you can go ahead and read this, because that's when she wrote it. And it's lovely, and it just fills in some details of things that you've missed. It's about their origin stories as well and how they came to meet, and it's like ridiculously cute. and also homoerotica, quite hardcore, so if you don't like that, probably give this one a miss. The rest of the Night Runners series doesn't have any of that kind of stuff in. Lynn Flewelling just went mad here. Basically, it's fan fiction. She's written her own fan fiction. So J.K. Rowling wrote fan fiction for Harry Potter. That's what this book is to me, with Lynn Flewelling and the Night Runners. Mwah. And it's got really great fan art in it too. Just all in all, really love it. The next book I read was The Architect's Apprentice by Elif Shafak, and I've already done a full review on this, so I'm gonna just link that here and not really talk about this because the review's not very long, so I probably just say all of the same things as I said in my review. If 16th century Istanbul sounds interesting to you, then you might want to check out that review. I gave this book 4 stars and really enjoyed it. So the next book that I read was an absolute disappointment to me, and that was The Iron Duke by Mel Jean Brooks. I really want to get into adult romance because I don't really like young adult romance, and I'm not talking about like adult romance that I used to read in the past, like Sophie Kinsella and Jane Green and all of that. Good fun, you know, but I wanted to try one of the like classic romances, the ones that they say this is romance, this is the romance genre, because I really wanted to see what I thought of it. This book was so promising at first. It was a steampunk, the plot and the background was so interesting, which I'm not going to go into because I didn't like the book, and the character, as the female character in herself, being a detective inspector, I liked, but no, just no. How can people romanticize men like this? His attitude towards Mina was so horrible. It was so creepy. I did not agree. I could not continue reading. I mean, it's like he saw her as a piece of meat. He even pushed her up against a wall in a lift and said, "I will have you in my bed." Now, I'm not saying you can't have characters like that in books, and I just think that you can't romanticize them, and you can't just have the female character forgive them and then become in a relationship with them. You know, it's like, he is a bad character, but he was being made out to be a good one, to be this hero, to be, and I just thought, does this get any better? Does she pull him up on it? Because that would, you know, maybe if she pulled him up on it and he changed, but I read some reviews on Goodreads and he really doesn't, and it's like, and a lot of people had problems because it was like he basically forced her when it did happen, and it just, no. Why is that okay? Why is that even written? I'm sorry, I'm going to stop going on about this now, but obviously I'm sure you all agree with me. But this book's had some really amazing reviews too, which makes me think that I just can't get into the romance genre because I just can't stand men like that. So I DNF'd it after 95 pages. 95 pages I stayed in for 95 pages. So the next book after that saved me from falling into a reading slump was Under the Eagle by Simon Scarrow. First book in the Roman series that he does. It's about a Roman. Oh, are we surprised? This was just really fun and hooked me in right from the start. It really follows 2 characters, Macro and Cato, and I think it follows them throughout the whole 12 book series or something. And this is actually a library book, by the way. This is a library book, that's why it's backed like that. So this book focuses on the 2 men in the Roman 2nd Legion. Cato is a new recruit who is instantly made opsho above all of the other legionaries, so they're really not happy with him at first, but basically his father was a slave in the emperor's palace, and this is 42 AD, so it's Claudius. So his father was a slave in the emperor's palace, and then when his father died, the emperor made Cato a free man to honour him as long as he joined the Roman army. So he also said that he'd want Cato to be high up or centurion or something, but they're like, no, he can't be a centurion, he doesn't even know how to fight. So he's made an opsho, which is the centurion's second-hand man. And Macro is older and he's the centurion that now has to deal with Cato, and it's about their friendship and them getting closer and learning from each other. I love the way they learn from each other because Macro is a real man's man and Cato is a poet, and it's just great fun, but also all of the fighting, the battle scenes in here are something great. They've just been in Germany and now the whole point is that they're going off to invade Britannia because yay! And that's a bit surreal when you see battles and you're like, I'm reading this from the Romans' perspectives and ideally really don't want Cato and Macro to die, but I really don't want the Romans to invade England. One thing I would say about this book is it's very English. The word lad is used a lot and boy, and just it's English. Oh, I can't remember the word. It uses English phrases, so it might be harder for an American to get into, but then again, it's just a really fun series, and they're all in my library. And the last book that I read in July, the last book that I finished in July was the one that I read on holiday. I think, did I read it until August? No, I didn't read it until August. And that was The Bees by Layleen Paul. Very much enjoyed this book, 4 stars. I feel like this has gone around a lot, so I don't need to talk about it too much. You know, it's set in a beehive, but the beehive is like a dystopian world, and we follow Flora 4774. And we follow Flora 717 as she flies around and lives her life, and a lot of things happen. And it had a massive impact on me. I wanted to go out and plant lavender. In fact, when I went out to a country park and saw some lavender there, I was counting how many bees were on the lavender. I counted about 100 bees on the lavender. I was very impressed. Well done, country park. This really got to me a lot, but now I can't make any thoughts happen. Is that a sentence? About it, because I read it on holiday when my brain was like jelly. I might do a review on this when I think more about it, because I have a lot to say, I just can't say it. I did start The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt in a buddy read with Eleanor, but unfortunately I didn't get very far, and then I went on holiday and just didn't read it, and I couldn't stay in internet contact with Eleanor, and now I can't read any of the messages she sent me because she's so far ahead, and because I've not been watching videos and catching up, and I'm really bad because I've not caught up, I don't even know what she thought of it. So bad Victoria, I really need to find that out and I need to read it, but this is going to be a slow one that I'll probably take throughout the year because I don't know why. I really enjoyed the bit I read though, and I didn't read enough I read about 40 pages, so I didn't really need enough to tell you anything. So I'm reading that currently. I am also reading Promise of Blood by Brian McClellan, and I'm about 200 pages into it, and it's really good. I'm really loving it. French Revolution with Wizards sounds completely right. I love all of the different perspectives. I love some perspectives more than others. I love some people more than others, but I haven't really read enough to make full words, but I haven't really read enough to tell you anything more at the moment. I am also currently reading The Life of Lara Jimbacca so far. This is actually a book that the author Brandon Mullen sent to me. It looks a bit like it could be a graphic novel. It's really interesting, but it's a book with illustrations and it's hilarious. Oh my gosh, this is so funny. I love this. Seriously. I will do a review on it once I've finished reading it, either on my Goodreads or here, but I will definitely be talking more about this in my August reads video. I'm taking it a little bit at a time because I think you can appreciate the humour more that way, and yes, more about this. Keep an eye out for this. And I am also currently reading Eats, Shoots and Leaves by Lynn Truss because why not? It's really funny and I'm scratching up on my grammar. So what books do I currently have checked out from the library? Well, historical fiction of course. The Eagle's Conquest by Simon Scarrow, the second book in that Rome series with Cato and Macro. And Rome, The Eagle of the Twelfth by MC Scott, the third book in that Rome and the Spy series. I'm going to have a lot of Roman series on this channel soon that we're going to have to try and keep to grips with, of which series is which. I think that's everything and I need to go because my camera is about to run out of memory. Thank you for watching. Until next time, look in the shadows, guys.